Hello.
Good morning. How are you, Senator?
Morning. Good to see you guys. Whenever I have to skip a week, I always feel like it's been a million years.
I know. And then I watch committee hearings and I'm like, hey there.
I know. I'm like, I can't see you, but hi. Whenever you text me, I always gonna be like, Kelly.
Haley is guest today, so I'll be running the meeting.
Okay, sweet.
There.
Yeah, it's a long one. Is that just me? Well, I know it's not just me because I just came from another meeting where I was like, oh my God, how do we make it through this week? That was staff, Senate staff. So maybe that's just us. I don't know.
It's felt like 2 weeks, to be honest.
Yeah. On Tuesday, I was like, and I had a moment on Wednesday.
Now.
All right, go for it.
All right. Can you guys see everything okay?
I can see it. Hello, friends. Great to see you. And okay. So, oh, excellent. So Kelly is our facilitator today, but I'll read through the agenda as always. And Kelly, you will keep me honest.
All right.
So this is really good. I'd been thinking about this myself. April Consortium date. We do need to set that.
We do.
And we're looking at doing either the 22nd or the 29th.
Does either work better for you?
I'm looking right now to see if there's any conflicts. And I have a request because I feel like I definitely get calendar invitations for all of our other meetings, but I don't get them for our general body meetings.
Okay, I'll make sure that those go out. Okay.
And so it has happened that I've almost double booked over our general body meeting, which would be super bad. Both dates look okay for me. I guess I would just ask if any of the other chairs or anyone else has any significant conflicts on either date. I'm somewhat inclined to say the 29th, because why not? But I guess I would just look to see if anyone else has any objections. Okay. Oh, Eugene?
Yeah.
April 22nd will be hard.
Okay.
My end, because we have a board meeting.
Okay.
So yeah, just giving a heads up.
Yeah. 1, 2.
Ray, did you have the same conflict?
Well, I chair his board meeting.
Yes, yeah. That's what I was saying. No.
Is the 29th a possibility?
Yeah, I think that would be the best one. It sounds like it is for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I'm not seeing any. I see a big thumbs up from Mr. Menzer. And all right, so let's go with the 29th.
All right, I'll get that all put. Haley and I'll get it posted.
All right, I'll put a hold on my calendar, but I'll look out for that invite. And we usually start at
5,
right?
Yep.
5:30. Okay.
Nope. Wait, or is it 5:30?
I feel like it's 5:30.
I think it is 5:30. Sorry, I have too many in my head.
Let's just do whatever we always do, but
okay.
I think it is 5:30. Okay. All right.
Got it.
So let's get right into the work group updates. There's been some good stuff coming around. I have not been able to attend any meetings in the last couple of weeks. I apologize. So social determinants, Jeff and Ray, how did the meeting on the 8th go?
I'll defer to Ray. I mean,
okay.
She can kind of, if she wants to summarize.
Great.
Okay. We had Dr. Adrian Peoples from DOE. He's their data analyst, fancy title. I thought the information was extremely useful. I had never seen, never had a walkthrough of the open source data, how to filter it, how to pull raw data. So he walked the group through that. He also prompted by questions pointed out the data gaps. And so Kelly thought it was super helpful. Very often there's information that we're unaware that we can access. So we really wanted to say what already exists and where are the gaps. And so we started that conversation. Information around enrollment cut by demographics and geography. Their geographic variable is very large. So they're looking at, making it more discrete. Zip code is still large. I don't know if they'll ever get down the census tract. They don't collect AP or, advanced college placement or, anything that has to do with the level of coursework that secondary students are enrolled in. So that's something that they're talking about, but they don't see these changes happening before 2022. And they don't collect or store data, social determinants data that impacts learning.
Okay.
So is that a fair assessment, summary, Kelly and Jeff, of what was presented?
Yeah.
Hi, it's Tika. Can I add a comment?
Yes.
I think one of the other good things that was good about it is he also explains for data sets that weren't already put in there, that people can propose for them to create them.
Thank you very much, Tika. Yes, there's a form where you can actually request that the DOE expand what they collect. So that was really useful. I frankly think that it's a useful presentation for the entire Reading Consortium.
Okay. Yeah.
I do. I just my suspicion is that we don't really know what we already have.
Very true.
Is that something that, might be possible, for example, for the social determinants group to kind of bring as a report to a future general body meeting?
And
do you know what I
present
mean?
it as an action item?
I mean, so essentially, we do our, in our general body meetings, each group sort of takes the time to do a certain presentation. Last time,
Oh, I
Settlement
see.
walked us through all the different, all the different legislation they wanted us to vote on. Maybe it's an opportunity for social determinants to say, during our time, we'd like to use our time to have Dr. Peoples talk about this data information that we just learned about that we think you all should know.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Unless you have a sense of it right now, Jeff.
No, oops, hold on.
No, you're good.
I'm good. I think the having Dr. Peoples present like what's there, but I think more importantly, the conversation that he really had around making it accessible to the general public and people to kind of like actually glean something from it that aren't, in his words, data nerds like himself. I think that's something that's, worth exploring a little bit further as well. So it's not just what's there, but like making what's there like public facing is what I thought was more relevant maybe for some of the stage we're at right now with trying to kind of tell the narrative around what's really happening instead of some of the complex behind the scenes stuff that he talked about, which I think was really eye-opening. As a longtime educator, I was fascinated that what was there and how accessible it was. But
yeah.
Right, yeah. So thank you, Jeff.
I think
Yes, that is our recommendation, that there is a public dashboard created. And frankly, it's there, but it's raw data. And the average person does not know what to do with raw data, and that's not his job.
Yeah.
And so thank you, Tika and Jeff. Absolutely. So gaining a better understanding of what's there, that has to happen first before you create a dashboard. But the outcome is a public facing dashboard. And that is a major recommendation of the social determinants work group.
That's awesome. That's great. I mean, that's so key, I think, in terms of the push for equity. I know that was something when I was just a sort of an early advocate parent where there was a sense that like, well, everything's transparent, everything's out there, the raw data is out there, but you had no idea, like if it was budgets or whatever. And I was like, but I have no idea how to read this. I have no idea what this says. And I think that applies to a lot of areas of data when it comes to helping the public actually engage with it. So that's wonderful. I think that could be a really powerful recommendation. Thank
So,
you.
so Tika just reminded us that the presentation was recorded.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so maybe we can just have the file sent. Do people really, I mean, everybody's busy, but we could still do it. Have
You
the
can do
have the
that.
Yeah.
file sent, because this presentation wasn't long.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't, and it made very good sense, like very like.
Yeah, it was
Nice
very,
to hear.
very direct, a very like plain data talk. It wasn't confusing, which it
Yeah.
can become.
Uh-huh.
When we
Yeah.
get the meeting recording posted, I can also isolate his presentation and we can post that separately as like a standalone video.
Right. If you could extract that out and
Yeah.
send it to
I
whomever
think that'd be great.
needs to bless it so that everybody on the Reading Consortium gets it directly in their inbox, that would be helpful.
That sounds good. And then maybe you can just reference back to it when we meet next. If not presenting it again, at least you can sort of remind people. Because I know people miss a lot of things that come through emails.
Mhm.
Okay.
They can also link to it in the newsletter too, as part of like
Yeah.
that stop place as well.
Love that. Cool. Anything else, social determinants?
We're
No,
going
that's it for me.
right. We're going to continue with just building our own base of knowledge for April. Was that our March meet? Yeah, for April and May.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Chuck, I think you are up. I know there's been some planning meetings and stuff for settlement. Any updates you want to give us?
Yes. First of all, Aaron couldn't make it today. So I'm flying solo on this one. And secondly, I just wanted to second the sentiment that Adrian Peoples is just an awesome resource. He knows his data. He knows educational data in the state. He's a pleasure to work with. The open data portal that you mentioned, it does have so much stuff on there. There's financial data on there. What I lament about the open data portal is it only has probably a third of the data fields on the finance side that you really need to do some really great dives into financial transparency. And I know when I was with the Department of Education, I was asking them to increase the number of fields we could get. You can't get school level data on the open data portal as far as spending is. Also, something that just came out on finance, because that's my thing, is the state, the DOE report card that they do on the schools, it just released school level spending data. You can get graphs, you could take a look at a whole district and see how much per student's being spent at each school. So, you know, like folks were saying, there is data out there. You just have to know where to find it. Some of it is not for the novice level, but I think DOE's report card, they attend. Adrian does work with that behind the scenes along with other people, but there's you know, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. I saw Ray's note about Dr. Peoples' financial. Yes, he's been very involved in financial recently, and it's been great. So as for the settlement work group, I know next meeting we're going to be talking about, we're going back to the impact, no, the equity statement on the major capital. And we are also going to be talking about the ombudsperson program, you know, just to get more understanding and just have some discussion on it. You know, personally, I don't know why people aren't, you know, taking a harder look at the equity statement, because when you take a look at capital project, we do talk about referendum reform on the operating side, but there's still a lot of work to do on the capital side. And, you know, it's we've got to really take care of some of these older buildings, some of these failing buildings. And I think there is definitely an equity dimension to our capital programs up and down the state when it comes to schools. I'll leave that there for now, but, you know, join the settlement work group meeting and you can hear more about that. Also, we have been working with some of the other groups to maybe come and tell us what they have going on so that we can kind of calibrate our efforts and make sure that when we look at the settlement, we're also looking at it with an eye at supporting social determinants and educators and funding and governance. So that's where we are. Next meeting is March 22nd. And thank you.
Great stuff. Anybody have any questions or thoughts for settlement? Sounds like it's moving right along. Awesome. All right, Eugene, your
Yes.
turn.
All right, so two things. One is we have a second meeting coming up with superintendents, and we've just put that on the calendar. In addition, we've taken some heed from our previous meeting. We're also going to schedule other meetings with charter school leaders as well, just to provide even more insight with some of the work that we're doing. We'll probably be, to be quite honest, we're actually going to be speaking with everyone. But we're going to be having this another conversation with the superintendents. And we'll also plan to meet by like late March, early April. And we'll be scheduling that, I would say, within the next month. So those are like the 2 meetings.
Great. Awesome. So same good energy happening in those gatherings.
Yeah, I mean, we think we're heading in the right direction. Then also, we feel good about it, but it's one of the things that we spoke about in our last like internal team meeting is the fact that we just need to communication during this time is going to be critical. And so we're not just having those conversations with the superintendents, but also others on the committee. And also we're just seeing what members have not been showing up to the meetings, kind of figuring out like, what is this going to look like and moving forward, like the actual, the committee itself. So we're having good conversations, and I'm excited about, some of the things that we're going to be doing.
I'll add, Eugene, for your to report back to your group that after that meeting, we've continued a little bit of the conversation on our own. So if that is any indication of there's momentum, as much as that can be shared, like you can, whether or not it's momentum positive or not, I don't know. There's been conversations between the 5 of us since that meeting, and I'm sure and it seems like people are looking forward to the next meeting, at least that they agreed to meet at the earliest date you put out there, Kelly. So, or whoever put that date out there, if that could be taken as a positive, I think, take whatever bit you can get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Again, well done, everybody. Okay. I know we don't have any educators meetings or updates. Again, that continues to be a part of the package that's being worked on. In terms of our recommendations that we've made. Before we move into public engagement, I can give a quick, there were some updates I wanted to give from the legislative angle on both HB 100 and Senate Bill 56. There have been some positive updates in relation to, those were both bills that we endorsed and supported. Senate Bill 56 passed the Senate nearly unanimously yesterday. I think there was just one senator that went not voting for unrelated reasons. So that's a positive sign that opportunity funding will be codified, but some pretty good conversations happen on the floor around that. And House Bill 100, as we know there, and I'm not sure if this was discussed last Friday, but, okay, Tika, I'll circle back to you. There was some feedback for the sponsor on that bill, and there was a meeting that resulted from the non-reading letter that came from the Urban League Center for Education and Public Policy. And there is an amendment to that bill that was generated to reshape the bill a little bit to ensure, we would hope, I was going to say encourage, but let's just go with ensure prioritization of placements with more schools with concentration of vulnerable students. So it actually generated an amendment. It may not go as far as some would like, but I was pleasantly surprised to see. I knew there was a willingness to hear us out on that, and an amendment was placed with the bill. So that's good news for Reading, I think.
Yay.
Well, I think that's good news for the Wilmington Center for Education, Equity, and Policy as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if we didn't push on it, there wouldn't be an amendment.
Mhm.
And I don't say that in a braggadocious way. I say that because we cannot back away from difficult conversations. That's
Yeah.
the work that we have before us.
Yeah. And I think, and I guess we'll know more as time goes on. I think sometimes we've backed away from these types of conversations because we anticipate, whatever fallout there's going to be. But I will say in my experience in this session, I don't know if it's because I'm not going to say it's solely any one group, whether the Legislative Black Caucus has certainly played a role, the center absolutely, is playing a role. Reading, has its place in that conversation, but I've seen my colleagues be very receptive to kind of gut checking their work through our priorities as well, which I think is really positive. And I didn't have that experience in the last session. So
That's
I think
great.
the conversations are out there, and people are being very responsive, and as in all things politics, there's always a scale of how much you can do, but I'm really happy about the conversations that are beginning to happen consistently, really sort of elevating the voices of impacted communities, and I think we're seeing results. So hopefully, again, that's another area where we'll continue to see momentum. So well done, Ray. The letter was outstanding, and definitely, I think, made the difference. Tika, you wanted to say something on the educators front.
Oh yes, I am muted already. And I don't know who's on that group that could maybe take it back, but there, another group that I'm involved in is that newly formed is the Society of Black Educators.
Your audio is a little slow, Tika.
But anyway, they've been connected with the Connect Delaware, which I think, or now everybody else is first. Can you guys hear me now?
A little bit. You might need to turn off your video so we can hear your audio. Sometimes that helps.
All right, let's try that.
Who did they connect with?
Sounds like.
But anyway, so the Connect Delaware, and they're presenting Educators of Color series and retaining educators of color. And they just had one yesterday, but I think they have one more. So somebody on that committee may want to try and connect with that group that's also doing similar work.
That's
I can put it
just
in
to add on. It's CJ Bell. CJ Bell runs. He's the head of the Connect. That's a really good point, Tika. He heads up the Connect. He'd be a great person to reach out to. Former Gilliam Fellow. We're proud of him. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we could. I'm trying to think. If we could have someone to liaise from that group, I think that's a good idea. Maybe we could run it by the chairs, but Danielle comes to mind. I know she's been super busy, but I think she just finished her doctorate work, so maybe she's not as busy. Maybe she'd be a good liaison. But that's great. Yeah, if we can connect that to that committee, that would be a great use of their non-meeting time to connect with other groups that are doing relevant work.
Senator, are we still on the educator update?
We can be, yeah, we are.
Just really quickly, on Monday, March 22nd at 7 p.m., the Wilmington Center is presenting a barbershop style conversation with all Black male educators. It's curated by Dr. Shelley Rouser. And so we're really excited about that. We have close to 100 people that are already pre-registered. So I'm not sure, so much information that goes around. Do you all get that information directly as Reading Consortium members?
I do.
I think I get it as a member of the center, but maybe I don't distinguish where it's coming from. So I don't think we're sharing that out with all consortium members.
Okay, so should I just send it to you and Haley for approval to go out? Or who should I be, what's the process?
Yes, if you send it to me, Haley and Kelly, honestly, more
Okay.
importantly, Haley and Kelly.
Okay,
Um,
all right, thank you.
Perfect. And it looks like that's a good segue to public engagement, and that our March newsletter is coming out, because one of the segments we wanted to make sure to have in that newsletter was talking about our partners, sort of our member partners in particular, and the work that they're doing, that we want to encourage consortium members and our followers to participate in. So that sounds like something we would definitely want to flag in that next newsletter, right, Kelly? So it looks like the next letter is set to go out middle of next week. Reminder for testimonials. Newsletter will have our support statement. And we'd be looking for any other thoughts and ideas. I think we just got a couple. And I'll save my question for the next bullet. But anyone have any thought? I thought the first newsletter looked fantastic. You know, I hope we, well, how many people do we have on the mailing list now? I don't know. Again, I have-
I'll double check. Kaylee's the keeper of that knowledge.
Okay. And again, I'll forward out to all of my colleagues. I know all of our emails, and I think this is probably true for everyone on the planet right now, is, you know, just sort of super underwater. So email's not necessarily always the best way to reach people, but I think it's still good to be communicating what we're up to, and that's getting replicated sort of to the Facebook, right? Like people can click through the Facebook and see the email the way you can kind of do with Constant Contact or whatever
I
platform.
believe so. I can confirm.
Cool. Anybody else have any thoughts or ideas around the newsletter? But if something comes into your mind, it sounds like we probably have a couple of days to possibly adjust content in there, and then it'll be gone. Okay. So videos. So Jason, do you want to talk about recording of testimonial videos?
Yes, we have 2 done. Maria's video is complete. So is Dawn's. Maria recorded with me on a Zoom call. Dawn recorded her own. Both have been cut. They're ready to go. So they are in the queue for distribution.
Great.
So
Great.
anyone else who wants to do it, please reach out, or I will put the form in the chat. So far, Dawn was the only one to use the form.
Okay. Well, I know Matt and I are slated, but haven't picked dates yet. So
Okay.
Apologize just for being unresponsive. I do have, and I know that the press conference clips are going up. Do you have any metrics on whether those are being viewed or shared?
That may be a Haley question. Let me check and get back to you. So if you want to talk about other stuff, I'll pull the view numbers up.
Sure. I think my only feedback I have on those, I think it's guys shared. I think I just shared the first one. I'm not sure if I even shared the other one, and I know Matt has been pretty diligent about sharing.
Matt shared them.
Matt shares probably every single one. We want to be really diligent about sharing, and would encourage all chairs, especially. Oh, Matt's not muted. Matt, did you want to say something?
I was about to say what you're saying right now.
So we really want to encourage everyone. You know, there's only so much we can do to kind of put the post in your hands, but to reshare it to your own pages and help us spread the word about the work that we're doing and the support that we have. So even if you're only on Facebook rarely, we would encourage you to go to the Reading page, make sure you like the Reading page, make sure you share those testimonial videos. One thing I would say in way of feedback, and I hope this isn't a big technical annoyance, but I know that we're posting a YouTube link that kind of just comes up as a link out to YouTube. If it doesn't make too much work, I guess I would wonder if we could start uploading videos onto the Facebook platform so people can watch them there and share them there. Thanks, Eugene. Just because I think the fewer barriers we have to having people actually watch the videos and engage with them, the better. So I would just wonder if instead of placing a link to YouTube, if we could upload the raw video onto Facebook so people can actually see it in action with minimal click-throughs. So that's just maybe food for thought for Jason and Haley. That was the only thing I noticed, just because I think people, even when we share it to our own pages, people are less likely probably to watch it if it's not an actual video and it's just sort of a block. Looks like you're going to an article or something. So that would be my feedback on that one. Let's see, 49, 55. Not terrible. You know, I think we could probably do better. And I would wonder if having it kind of embedded there on Facebook might make a difference. I would encourage us to experiment maybe with one of the next videos and see if that generates more eyes on the product. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I think you're right. You're right on point.
Mhm.
As a user, if I can just search under Reading on YouTube and it comes up without me having to go into an email, click a link and all that, I'm more likely to do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you have your own YouTube channel?
Are we posting to a Reading
said
YouTube?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yes,
I
there is.
would. Mhm.
I was just saying, yes, there is.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's good. I think it would just be, and this might be kind of a pain and might even call for us to go back and put up the ones that we posted before. It doesn't have to be a whole post, but we can maybe to like the video album. But yeah, just that we put everything on YouTube, but we also put everything on Facebook. So it's there. People come to our page and they can kind of see that content right there and then. And then moving forward, maybe make the post with that embedded video would be my recommendation. Cool. And I see Tika was posting. Tika, they didn't win last night, huh? I knew the game was coming, but I wasn't paying attention.
No, unfortunately,
Aw.
it came up short, but it's a big deal them making it to the championship.
It is. I was really proud of them. I think it actually came up yesterday during a Senate session.
Oh yeah, it's pretty big around here.
I can't wait till they're actually back home playing. All right. So anybody have anything else on any of our items? All right. I see. Oh, math hoops. Okay, cool. Maybe that's something, Tika, that we could note in the newsletter, since they were someone who came out and supported. I think we could consider them sort of an ally, and why not?
I would think so. And it seems like it's a good program that's virtual for students and educators, and fun way for them to connect and even just come to the screen, which has been some of the challenges that educators have been experiencing up and down the state. And then, like I said, it has incentives for the students participating as well as the educators, and it's free.
That sounds great. All right, cool. All right, so I think that's it for our agenda items today. Good job. And now we're on public comment. I see Amy has joined us. Amy, I don't know if you have anything for us today, but if so, now is the time.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, so I think I missed a few planning meetings recently, but I did get to see Dr. Newton's video, I believe, through maybe a Facebook post that you had, Senator Lockman, and I thought it was really powerful. And the group that I work with, an advocacy group through Building People Power, Safe Schools, you know, we've recently been at Warner handing out surveys to see if red clay parents want COVID testing in the schools, if they would use it. And so I took Warner, so I recently met Dr. Newton and spoke to him, and I just think that his message was so powerful, because what I've found thus far, just working like with Red Clay School District on the ground, is that on the implementation side, with parent engagement and I guess with the resources that Dr. Newton has, he does need help, and I know that you guys are working hard, you know, on all these things to respond to him, but it would be nice to have a more direct action for him when he's sending that kind of message out. And I don't know how we can go about doing that, because, you know, Safe Schools is trying, but they've gone to the equity office and the governor's office and John Sheehan, and, you know, tried to create some liaison positions to do just that. And we're being told the money isn't there, even though all this federal money is pouring in. And so if anyone can help Safe Schools, help kind of people on the ground like Dr. Newton, because right now a lot of people in Safe Schools are just, doing a lot of work for free and trying to address some of these issues that he's experiencing. And they're not really getting any help from John Sheehan or the Equity Office. So there's a disconnect at this point, I think, from the work you guys are doing and these messages that we're getting and then advocates. And I would like to maybe come up with a solution sooner than later, to put it all together, a coordinated effort. And I guess I'm asking for help because I don't really know how to do that, but that's what I see. And just in Red Clay, the communications with the parents, I have the background in media and just for what I see, there could be a lot of improvements right off the bat. And I kind of see what Dr. Newton's talking about. So I think that's my ask. And with these videos, I don't know if you can link, like if you can have a box for people to put their email address in, like after they watch the video, because I don't know if you guys really have a call to action now, but hopefully these videos, we can send them to people outside of our echo chamber, to people who don't know about these issues and engage them. And if you grab their email, whenever you need to use it, then you'll have it kind of building that database. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. That's a great suggestion. I really appreciate that. And maybe when we are embedding it on Facebook, we'll be able to manage that a little bit. Okay. So if there's nothing else, everyone, I think we will adjourn for today, continue our hard work into the next couple of weeks, and see you next Friday, if not sooner. All right. Bye. Have a great weekend.
Okay.